Hello dear viewers, I'm Shahnaz Parveen from Carmel Convent BHL School, and today I'm going to help you analyze and understand the first poem prescribed by NCERT for class 9 in their English book Beehive. The poem is The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, an American poet known for his realistic depiction of rural life. This poem was first published in the year 1960, and it is the first poem in his collection of poems Mountain Interval. So let's see the first stanza of the poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. In this stanza, the poet describes about a small journey that he undertook. He was standing at a junction in a yellow forest where two roads were separated in two different directions. The poet feels sorry that being a single traveler, he could not travel on both the roads at the same time. The yellow wood here symbolizes autumn season, as the leaves were yellow. He stood there for a long time and looked at the road down as far as he could. The road then bent and disappeared from his eyes in the bushes and the undergrowth. Let's move on to the second stanza. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted there, though as far that the passing there had borne them really about the same. Then the poet took the other road. He looked at the other road. It was as beautiful and as fair as the first one. The second road perhaps presented a better claim, as it was more grassy and wanted wear. As far as the question of there being worn due to walking of the travellers is concerned, both of them had worn almost the same. So it was a difficult choice for the poet to decide which road to travel. The two roads here symbolize a choice that has to be made in life. We often face two choices, and out of those two choices we have to make one. That is always a problem. We are often in a dilemma which road to choose or which decision to make. So the poet also was in a state of dilemma. He was confused. Let's move on to the third stanza. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. In this stanza, poet again compares the two roads and feels that both the roads that lay in front of him were almost in the same condition. They were covered with the fallen leaves. The leaves had not been blackened by the steps of the travellers. The poet left the first road because he would use it on some other day. He thought he would get a chance to get back and travel the road that he was leaving that time. Somewhere in his mind, he knew that it would not be possible. He doubted that he would ever get a chance to come back to that junction and take the other road. It was a difficult choice to make, but then he decided to leave the first road for some other day and chose the second road to travel and continue his journey. He chose the second road, balancing each choice, as the two roads presented almost the same picture. Let's see the next stanza now. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. Here, the poet talks about his choice. He says that he would be telling about his choice ages and ages hence. That means sometime in future he would be telling it with a sigh. Here, the sigh can be a sigh of relief or it can be a sigh of regret. I personally feel that it is a sigh of relief, a sigh of satisfaction, and many people would disagree with this because the poet here has left the final say for the readers. I feel that when we make a choice, we only have to bear the consequences of our choice. If your choice is correct, you succeed in life, and if your choice is wrong, it may lead to failure. It may lead you to failure. So he says that the two roads that diverged in a wood, he had to choose only one out of the two roads, and he decided to take the less travelled by. He did not go for the road that was more often travelled by people, rather chose the less travelled by, though it was full of challenges, risks, adventures, but he decided to go for the same road, for the same journey. And he says that his choice made all the difference in his life. This difference that he talks about may be the struggles that he had to face, the challenges that he had to face, or it may be the success that he received finally. Therefore, we should take it as this is a sigh of relief as he finally succeeded in achieving what he wanted in his life. He became a well-known poet. Therefore, I believe that this is a sigh of relief and not a sigh of regret. The only regret that the poet has is that he was being a single traveler, he could not travel both the roads and therefore he had to leave one. He could travel only one road and that is the only regret that he had. With this, we move on to the figures of speech used in the poem. Let's see the figures of speech used in the poem. Let us discuss the first one, that is metaphor. As you all know, metaphor is a direct comparison. Here, this poem is an extended metaphor where wood is compared to life and the two roads are compared to two choices which life offers us. At every point of time, we often face this dilemma of making a choice. So the roads are a metaphor for choices and the wood is a metaphor for life. Let's see the next one now, that is imagery. Imagery is the mental picture that we perceive with our senses while reading the poem. Here we see the use of imagery by the poet. Yellow leaves, woods, roads, grassy roads, roads covered with yellow leaves. These are all different images that are presented. Then the next we have is simile. The use of simile you can see in the second stanza, as just, as fair, while comparing the two roads with the help of the words just, as and like. He makes use of the simile also in the poem. I hope this video will help you understand the poem in a better way.